All right, hello. I have a video today that is going to be about NI, mostly NI for ESPs. Um, yeah, I turned down my air purifier, but now the fan is kind of whistling, so I'm going to keep it loud, or high fan. So I want to talk about NI just NI in general, actually. The reason why I say in ESPs is because I am an ESFP, and so I feel like I'm never sure if my perspective is just mine, but I do feel like this is NI in general because I have spoken with lead NIs and their assumption has been wrong. So, I'm sure there's different skill with NI in different placements, but I'm just going to talk about NI in general, and I'm going to say that to me, NI is like manifesting. And you can manifest something that's good for yourself, or you can manifest something that's bad for yourself. So, I think sometimes people aren't aware sometimes when they're manifesting bad things for themselves or something that is detrimental. Okay, like, here's what I'll say. If you have control over what you're manifesting, I think it can be a good manifestation. If you don't have control over what you're manifesting, then I think that can be bad manifesting because I'm going to give an example, an SE example. So I started thinking about this because I know someone who is much younger than me, so it's really hard to put myself back in my shoes when I was like in my 20s. It's very difficult for me to do that. It's like sometimes like I work with a few ESPs, and I'm seeing things in them like, did I do that? It's making me start to question. It's kind of like, oh, that's like, I can tell like that's not good, but that's like harmful to them. But at the same time, I'm like, did I do that when I was young? So it's very possible. It's very hard to remember. And I think that's one thing that is a positive, that as you get older, because I'm in my 50s, as you get older, you will grow, and so much so that you don't even remember, your self that had this flaw. You don't even remember. So I also realized how much I have blasted. Even though I can see my areas for improvement, I realize how much I am blasting compared to some of these younger ESFPs. So, an example. If you desire something and you manifest it, your NI could see things that are not there. Okay. And so that's what I call fantasy chasing. And I think people in the moment do not see it. So, for instance, you're interested in someone, attracted to someone, and you see every little thing as they're giving you a hint. Now, there are times where, like, how the times when someone's like, oh, are they just nice or do they like me? Right? I do think sometimes people can get a feeling like that, if someone makes you feel good, you think that they might be attracted to you, I suppose. But I do believe there's a way to test it. And this is where I think Blast comes in handy. So, I recommend like being a little more, and maybe play, although I know play first person who won't do this. Okay. You've got to throw something out there to let them know that and I'm talking to women here, to let them know that you find them attractive, right? I mean, you don't have to ask them out unless that's your thing, But I think you do need to let someone know that you find them attractive. And I don't mean that's, hey, just want to let you know I find you attractive, right? Because there can feel rejection if someone's like, oh, thank you, and then they never ask you out, they never do anything. Then it's like, well, I guess they weren't interested. You could do that as well, but I'm saying you could just say, oh, that looks really nice. You know, you look really nice in that color. You look really nice today. That, you know, I just really like this about your style. You throw that compliment out, and yes, it can be, this could just be a nice compliment, but I think you can test it, see how they react, and then you can eventually give more. And I think you give someone enough time to think about it, especially if they're asleep. You sleep over play, you give them enough time to like absorb that and realize what happened, and then decide to ask you out. I don't know. I'm not a man, I'm a woman, so I can't really say. I don't go into the practice of asking people out. But I do love to, if I find someone attractive, I'm all in. Like, as far as what I tell them, I might say, you're very handsome. I mean, I might just come out and say it honestly. You're very handsome, and people will always be flattered. And yeah, you can just kind of tell sometimes, I think. You can tell. And then you test it that way. You're very handsome, you know, well, whatever. Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm finding like that this person who's younger won't do that. No, 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 no. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. And not only that, this is what they're doing, okay, that I find to be not good for them. They're like, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? All right. So they're attracted to this person, and they're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. And here's the example of what does this mean? Okay. Hi. 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 Okay. Just looks, the way they say hi, what does it mean? They're real, and then here's the manifesting. They're very into me. I know, I can tell. They're very into me. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, well, okay, I can tell, like, you're last, you're not gonna ask them out. You know, you're waiting, and like, we'll see, you know. And then she's also like, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Like, very excited, we'll see. And it's been this way for months. And I'm like, you know, you really need substance, you know, like, if someone's going to be your partner, they're going to ask you out. Now, if you look at this person's age, you just look at their age, their history. Are they someone who's never been in a relationship, or are they someone who's been in relationships? If they've been in relationships and they're a little bit older than you, chances are they know how to ask someone out, okay? And in this case, it is that way. And I'm like, listen, this person has no problem asking someone out. So my suggestion is to you, if you are really into him and you're holding on to this, is throw it out there. Throw out the, you look nice today. I love your style. Oh, I love this on you. Whatever it is, give the person a compliment. Make them feel good. And see how you linger in their mind. See if then it progresses. And if it doesn't, I think that's fantasy manifesting. You know, it's like to just, she gets very excited by hi. Then it's like, oh, he stood here versus there and there. And not only that I find very negative is she'll say, that person, that lady was talking to him in a flirty way. And when she told me, I'm like, oh, that person, first of all, is way older than him and is married and is not that type at all. She is not a vixen, opposite of a vixen. She is super friendly, play. She's very play. No, I don't think she's 0% interested in him. So, and then she's like, oh yeah, I could tell, like she's interested. And then everything revolves around this fantasy, right? And, excuse me, the best way to get out of this fantasy is to use your SE, okay? Actions speak louder than words. Of course, when you are in a relationship, you do want the nice words. But when you're in a relationship, you probably have the action as well, right? You already have the date, the commitment, you guys made a commitment. There's a lot of action behind that before you decide to make that commitment. Then you want the words. But if you don't have that, you really need to see some action. Otherwise, it is just a fantasy manifesting. And I mean, I feel for her, trying to help her. She's really wrapped up in it. And I say, you know what, if you're gonna get involved in high, then you should also don't let it deter you from looking for other guys too, because what if a year goes by and it's still just high? And if you're someone who wants children, I mean, the clock is ticking for children. I will say that, like, if you're, I would say if you don't have children by 30, if I didn't have children by the time I was 35, and I know you can have them at 40, you know you can have them at 45, but think of when your kids are 20. Also think it gets harder and harder as you get older. Now, I'm not saying give up. Like, if you don't meet someone till then and you still want kids and you can still have kids, go for it. But if don't stay with high, you know what I mean? Like, don't stay for years at high when you know you want children. And then she said to me, well, I have time because I think that, I'm not going to really, maybe for a couple of years, meet someone. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. But I'm going to tell you, fantasy manifesting, the way to get out of what is the NI? What is the NI? I don't know, what is the NI? Or if your NI is even good, use SE. What are the actions? What are you seeing? What is presenting before you? That is what you have, okay? Maybe you want to know what's going to happen in the future. We don't always know, especially with dating and relationships. Now, unless the person did say to you, I never want to date you, or I'm married, or, then I'd say, time to give up. Not that it means they can't change, they can't get divorced, they can't change their mind, whatever, but I wouldn't hold your breath for any of that. Also, I just think, like, yeah, when you're interested in someone, you need SE. You need the SE in dating, okay? Now, relationships would probably be something a little bit different. You can give someone the benefit of the doubt because you have a history and trust built, and someone who has supported you, has been there for you, has good days and bad days, right? But when you're doing dating, it's very different, and you do want your SE. You want to be SE activated. So I have this yogurt here, but I don't like to eat on camera, but I'm going to be eating this soon. So, yeah, I was just thinking about that because I don't want it to get too warm. Anyway, I think that's really all I have to say about that. That really your SE can help you get out of your NI and get into your SE. I've had NI savior people make assumptions, and I'm like, where did I ever say this? I see people make assumptions, and what I say at all is what what I don't say. I mean, like, for instance, you might give your opinion on something. You never cut them down. You just say it matter of fact, right? And all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, that's so mean. And you're like, what? You're very much projecting something onto that, and got some NI assumptions going on that are wrong. So sometimes I feel a little overconfident in my SE and forget about the NI that people present. But at the same time, you cannot help what people make up. You really cannot. If someone's going to make up something about you and not ask you and not take the time to get to know, then they're not, to me, not worth my time in my life, okay? And it's one thing, yes, they might make a wrong assumption, and then if they want to correct it. But if they're not going to want to correct it and right the wrong, then I just think people just want to make some bad NI assumptions, then to me, I don't want them in my life. Also, I guess we'll talk a little bit about a work situation I had. So there's this woman who is high play, and I liked her just fine. She's and I'm consume sleep mope, and she's play probably a play consume. She seems very ADHD. I don't know if she has it, but she seems it. So I'm gonna say she's play consume, and would be my guess. And she works in a different department than me, but on the same floor as me. And she would start to talk to me. She was very nice and friendly, and I liked her. But then she's kind of like a lot. There's a lot going on that I'm not a lot, right? So when a person who wants a lot presents against me, sometimes they can not like me because of that. I don't know. I don't know if they're reading that they think I don't like them, but I don't like to be around that much extroversion is draining. There's a thing called emotional vampires, energy vampire, draining, and it's draining to me. And that's not really an emotional vampire if someone's just chatty, but it is an energy vampire to me. And so I limit that kind of thing. Like anybody, it's not this woman in particular, it's anybody. It's even like being at well, not so much a concert, but like a happy hour. That's very energy draining for me. A lot of noise, a lot of different chatting from different areas is very draining for me, very difficult. I can only stand so much, and then I'm like, I think this is really like affecting my health. I think this is gonna affect my driving ability. Like I need to get out of here. I get really tired, like physically tired. So no offense to her, but I think I conserve energy. And I started noticing that she was pulling back a lot, and I thought, okay, she probably doesn't like me. Like even like she would be hi, 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 and I was hi. I'm not like a super enthusiastic hi, but I said hi. And then I would see her and I would say hi, and it was almost like she didn't want to say hi, and I thought that's very weird. Like, not only did she say hi, she used to be super enthusiastic, and I'm saying hi the same way I said it before. I'm still saying hi. And I thought, okay, like, I can tell she's just something. I think she doesn't like me. It could be this projection that she has upon me because I have a different demeanor than her. So, therefore, you know what? Forget it. I just can't deal with that. I really cannot. When I have to be like you for you to like me, and you cannot comprehend someone being different and accepting people for who they are, I have really no interest in being your friend. And yeah, then I found out that also this is what she did, and this does annoy me, but I try to be open-minded and think, okay, it's kind, but sometimes people like this, I find these people to be some of the most selfish people, honestly, that are so absorbed with you because they're not happy unless they get a certain response from you. To me, that's very selfish. If you are really interested in other people, you are interested in them as they are. So she gave me some food, right? She kept talking about this sauce, and she was really pushing it on me, right? I wasn't asking her, what's this, what's that? She looks at my food. She knows I'm vegan. She looks at my food, and I don't know if she has a child that's vegan or she's just vegan curious, but she'll ask to try my food, which, I'm not a huge fan of someone asking to try my food because there's no trade here. You're taking my lunch and that I bought, and I didn't bring a lot, and also it can be expensive, and I'm just really not into this. She wants to try my food a lot. And but I've let her, even though I don't like it, I've let her. So, there's that sense like, oh, that's very selfish. Even though it's play, it's very like, let me just take. And I've seen this in another play that was very much like, oh, there's food, I'm going to take it. If you don't give it to me, you're selfish. So she was talking about the sauce, blah, blah, and all of a sudden she got on this topic, I should make you this and give you the sauce. And I was like, whoa, this is a lot, and it's just being pushed upon me. But I was like, oh yeah, whatever, don't. Anyway, so she did give it to me, and she gave me these 2 spring rolls and the sauce. And I hated the sauce, but I love the spring rolls. And I was like, well, you know, I kind of threw it away. I took a little bit, threw it away, but you know, you can't, if you know, I didn't ask for it. I didn't, you know, and honestly, she could have poisoned me, but, and now actually I think she probably would poison me, but, back then I really wasn't thinking she was going to poison me, but, so she's been very weird toward me. So then my friend told me that she had to work with her. And when she was working with her, she was very much like, I'm going to send this email and I'm going to add, because, okay, she had to send this email to certain people. Just this is the way we do this protocol. And she had to send it to certain people, like these supervisors and managers. There was like, say, 10 of them. She's like, I'm going to put them in the order that I like them. And then she said, which honestly, I might have an order I like people, but sometimes I do alphabetical. Or I do it as it comes up. I don't even like, I'm not going to make that effort. Then she would say, my friend told me that when they were walking around doing this walkthrough, she was saying, this person's a good girl. And they're a good girl. Oh, so-and-so's a good girl. Oh, that person, I told them so, you know. And I just thought, I don't like this good girl, bad girl. To me, that did feel single-decider, but I don't know that she is. And she could be. She could be ENTJ. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But she, you know, she was just like the judge and jury of who was good and bad. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Put me in the bad girl spot. If that's the way you're doing it, put me in the bad girl spot. Because we all have good and bad. And I don't want you to give me good, and then all of a sudden I have this expectation, and I just don't like these expectations. So anyway, why am I talking about? Well, I'm just venting. I'm venting, and I was looking at it through personality lens. Both these people are Savior DE. You know, my friend, and then this lady, the one lady's play, and she just, it was a lot for me, you know. I just think, I don't mind if she wants to take a lot of energy, but I don't want it to be taken from me. I think she should take it from a lot of people or another play person. You know, just realize I have limited to give. And, you know, that's that. So that is my summary for today. And I can't think of anything else to say. People I want to type. I did want to talk about socials a little bit, but I want to do my own video on that and gather some more of my thoughts before I do that. So that might be next time. I'm not really sure because yeah, I have some thoughts. So until next time, have a good, have a good and a bad and a good bad, and be a good girl and a bad girl. And yeah.